So founders think that VCs are looking for, fantastic TAM, which of course we are looking for a great TAM. But I think what is even more important is how will a founder execute on an idea? An idea by itself has no meaning if there is no execution of that idea. I think too much is made, and I think a lot of founders in the past have been lionized saying, oh my God, they came up with this world-defining, game-changing sort of an idea. But that really isn't enough. If you're not able to execute, some of the best ideas will be meaningless. A great idea can become a mediocre idea if it is executed poorly. So not enough, I think, is understood on how VCs look for a founder's ability to execute. Now, let's say you're a founder pitching to an early stage VC like Rukum. What is it that you need to tell me, so that I will be convinced about that you have the ability to execute? I think if you flesh it out, if you're able to break down the steps you will take to build out that business, your insight into the consumer, it's not good enough to say, oh my God, this is a large market. I mean, in India, pretty much everything can be a large market, right? And just because something is a large market doesn't mean that you as a founder have a right to win. You need to explain to me or to any investor is that what is your right to win? So great that there's a great TAM, there's a large market size, but how will you get that market? So again, a lot of founders will come and say things like, oh, if I can get 2% of, this market size, then, I become a sort of a, certain size company. But again, how exactly will you get that market? Now, every founder should really pay attention to the fact that if you have understood that there's a large TAM, so have so many other people. Why have others, including legacy guys, have not been able to, let's say, capture a certain TAM? I think it's important to study both the upsides of a market as well as the downsides of a market. Why is somebody not being able to capture a market if it exists? If it was so easy, let's take it for granted that everybody should be able to sort of capture that market, right? So really break down your idea in easy bite-sized steps that will take you from 0 to 1. Now, the 0 to 1 is something that is spoken about a lot again in the startup ecosystem, but what does it really mean? What it means is that how will you get from a paper plan to some revenue where it can be seen that there are consumers for your product at that price point through the channels that you're using to get to the consumer. I think that's a hard journey. I think a lot of sort of people give up because they realize very quickly that the idea may have sounded great, but it couldn't really even scale up to that basic sort of number. Then from that initial sort of point where you've got some customers, some revenue, how do you then scale it up to the next sort of stage of that growth depending on the product and category that you're in? I think each step requires a different skill set, different understanding of the consumer, the channel, the price point, and the depth of that market. I think that understanding is crucial to raise VC investment. And the final thing that when I see that, okay, maybe there's a market, it's a great idea, maybe as a founder, you've been able to explain that you can really build it out. And then finally, as founders, I think it's very important to understand that a VC needs exponential returns, not linear returns. So really do a reality check for your business and see, can you or your business idea give that kind of exponential returns? I think it'll make everybody stress-free and happier sort of outcomes for everyone.